Welcome back to the channel, everyone, if you are a current subscriber. If not, welcome to the channel. Today's video, if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, the title and the little intro is about the Flux Raider. Let's get into it. All right, so where to start with this thing, I don't know. So kind of the whole premise of this video, well, first is just showing off the Flux Raider because this thing is pretty damn cool, but kind of to talk about how this thing is pretty pointless at the same time. So if you do not know what the Flux Raider is, this is a chassis system. So this is for the Sig Sauer P320 series. They do make one for the P365, and I think they had one for like Glock or something like that. But this is the P320 one. With all the stuff going on with Sig right now, can you trust a P320? I don't know. That one's up to you. I still don't. I didn't from before that. This was never a carry gun, and it would never have one in the chamber unless I was specifically at the range, and I don't know. But so if you're unfamiliar with the P320, P365, I believe the Springfield Echelon also, which maybe they'll do one with that, which could work also. It is a FCU or fire control unit, so you can buy a full gun, or you can buy just the fire control unit from Sig. That is your serialized part, which is basically the trigger group. I guess it would be like the internals of the lower of a gun, so the grip end, all that stuff, is your serialized part, but not your whole grip. And then you could take that, drop it into many different grips. There's different companies that make grips, Icarus, Wilson Combat, and whoever else makes grips for the P365, P320, starting on the Springfield Echelon, because that's kind of the same thing, but they have a different name for it. Take that, drop it into whatever you want. Then you could take the slide off your gun if you bought a full gun, or you can buy a slide and barrel and all that stuff and go from there. So it's very modular. The Flux Raider just as modular as the P320. So I believe this is marketed as like a PDW, personal defense weapon, in replacement of a handgun, or I guess a larger rifle in areas, times, or whatever, when you can't have a full-size rifle, or like an MP5 or something like that. I guess you would take this. Pretty specific for a specific case. It can be argued for, I guess, a civilian like myself, but we're going to get into those things, the pros and cons of it, in a little bit. But going on from it, so this has a little bit of Picatinny at the top, so I have a Holosun 407C mounted on this with this little BS riser that I think came with a different optic, but it's on there for now. It would be nice to have this just a little bit taller. Could kind of get used to the height of it as is. The fire control unit and the slide is off my P320 Spectre Comp Blackout, whatever. I do have a video on that. If you want to watch the video on the full gun, I'll link that in the top corner. You could go check that out. But that was a gun that basically I started getting into USPSA compensated, so I'll never use that to shoot competition. So it was just ending up sitting there. I was considering selling it, and then these went on sale again. So I was like, you know what, let me get one of these. They're kind of cool. So that's how I ended up with this, and it has my Spectre Comp slide on it, and I guess FCU. So that's what's in this. That's the Holosun with the riser, Spectre Comp, obviously compensated, and the fire control unit. That's the only things I added to it. The rest of it comes as you buy it from Flux. So this does have a spot on the front over here. You can't put a light on there. The reason I don't have a light is because that's kind of your foregrip. So the light will take up even more. You wind up being like about down there with a light on it. With no you're always going to have a magazine in here. Let's throw a magazine in. The other one doesn't really matter. So this would be your magazine. So you're pretty much always going to have a magazine in there. So it's not a big deal, because you could kind of use the magazine as part of the grip for it, if that's the case. But with the magazine out and light on, you're about down there. And like I said, this isn't like my gun. This is more of just like going to the range to shoot, and it's kind of cool. So that's why there's no light on it. A couple things I find kind of funny on it. I guess this is like ATF stuff. On this side here, it specifically says pistol brace, because this is not a stock, it's a pistol brace, but you can buy a stock and SBR this. Then on this side over here, not a VFG, and for those of you that don't know, that's a vertical foregrip, and that is a no-no. on a pistol. Obviously you can see it isn't vertical, not a vertical foregrip, probably like a little Easter egg thing or whatever, funny thing for like ATF people, but that's specifically not a vertical foregrip. Now let's get into some features that is on the Flux, and then a couple things that you, I guess, can upgrade, things that I probably won't upgrade, but we'll go from there. So like I said, you have your magazine, that's your front magazine holder, then obviously your grip holds a magazine also. That's your whole setup. Obviously optic, you could put a plethora of optics on. I've seen pictures of people like EOTech up there and stuff. That's up to you. You do have to take off, you cannot mount your optic to the slide. If you had it, your slide reciprocates underneath this little bridge thing here, so you can't run that. I believe the other thing you can't run is suppressor height sights. If you have suppressor height sights, that also won't run because you could co-witness with your irons, but there isn't space if you have suppressor heights. So that's another thing, can't have suppressor height sights. Now this is the cool feature of this. Looks like this. You have this lever right here. You're gonna hit that, and then you get your brace comes out, and then you could hold that and pew, 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 pew. It's cool. So to put it back in, I don't know if this is the way to do it. This is how I've been doing it. I've been pressing the lever down and just jamming on my shoulder, and then there is this spring that's the spring that shoots it out. It is, you do have to overcome that to snap it back in, and then you're closed again. Pretty small whole setup here. Then we have a couple different things here. So over here on the front, you have a mag release, and then that is also the same as over here, which is the mag release for the grip. So just gonna throw this brace out again. So the button there drops that magazine, or if you slide this lever forward over here, it also drops the magazine. Pretty neat, kind of like AR controls. I mean, it's kind of, if you're shooting like that, it's kind of down and out of the way. It's a little annoying. I honestly forget it's there sometimes. I usually wind up using the thumb one. But the thumb one, there is this safety that's on it. And when the safety is, I guess, defeated, disengaged, it's pretty close to that. And sometimes it's kind of hard to hit that, to get it to go. But just something, I guess, training that you would learn. But as you see there, there's a safety on fire, and then you're kind of right in the way there, but you could work around it. You'll figure it out. And this is what it is with that. Then once we move forward from that one, you're probably saying to yourself, but hey, how do we get the front one out? The front one does have this paddle lever over here. So if you only press it lightly, that just drops the one magazine like that. Or if you press it hard, drops both of them. So that's pretty cool. We're gonna do a little shooting in a minute, so I could kind of demonstrate that, but you would, I guess, shoot. One of the hard things with this, when you go to slide lock, it's not very easy to hit the slide release. If you want to do it with your dominant hand firing trigger finger, you kind of have to work around the thing that extends the brace out to get that. And then the one on the other side is not in the greatest spot to get it, because like I can't activate that with the way the back strap is. I guess kind of be training you to figure some of that stuff out. But you'd be shooting, pew, 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 slide lock, press this one hard, drops that right in there. I guess you could come up kind of like 2011 style, and then you're good to go again. So now let's do some, I guess, pros and cons of this. So cons, I will most likely probably never carry this as an EDC. Probably wouldn't even use this as a home defense gun. It's nice if you're in an apartment building. It's probably nice if you have a smaller apartment. You have this little compact thing to move around with to go through your apartment to make sure it's clear. If there's a bad guy in there, then you would probably have the light on it. Obviously, I would not have it compensated for that. I would definitely have a suppressor on it, because shooting 9mm indoors is pretty loud in the first place. Then with the compensator with the gases going up instead of all of them going forward, it's going to be extremely loud. Not going to be a good time.
You're going to have a bad time.
For home defense reasons, I would have a can on it. But like I said, I would probably never use it for that. This is strictly for me, just kind of like a range toy. Let some friends shoot it every once in a while, go to the range. Maybe, I believe it would have to be SBR'd, but maybe use it for like USPSA. I know there's one dude that uses this. He has his SBR'd and he uses it as a PCC, which is kind of cool. I don't know about that. That would be well into the future. I don't have plans to ever do that. I don't know if this is so much of a pros and cons list. It's pretty much just all, I guess, cons for me. I guess pros, it's cool, looks pretty damn cool. Does that's pretty awesome. It's kind of fun to shoot and LARP around with. I don't need it as a PDW. I'm just some dude, so I don't need to be carrying something extra around like this. My carry gun is just fine for that. Home defense, I would not use that. I have my 300 blackout build that is my home defense gun, which honestly I'd probably wind up grabbing my pistol in any case, which, like I was just complaining about the compensator, my pistol is ported, so it would be very loud, probably go deaf. And then just the overall size of this, just trying to use it, I guess if you had a sling, I did not bring a sling with me to sling it up and then I guess put it like under clothing or something. I don't know what people do with these for like defense. I guess you would just kind of like go to and from the car into work if you could have guns at work and just like put it on your desk. At least me, I would not be carrying with one in the chamber because this is a P320. I don't trust them. Kind of just rambling about all this stuff. Let's load up some ammo, demo the gun a little bit, I guess, and then I'll show you the only scenario in my head that I could come up with as to why I would take this over a handgun or a rifle. All right, so we got a target set up downrange a little bit, just held in by like a shot up dishwasher or something like that. I'm just gonna do a couple rounds. I think I got 3 rounds in this magazine. Then we'll have the speed reloader, so we'll just show you how that kind of works. Obviously you know how it works because I showed you already, but let's just shoot a little bit, like I said. And then safety, can't pull the trigger. Cool little gun. It's kind of, I mean, it feels good to just have it in there and just like pew, 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 pew. I have a shot timer. I've got a scenario that I'm gonna use to shoot the bad guy. This is the only reason I could think that I would take this over, this is the only reason I think I would take this over either my handgun or a rifle. So let's get set up for it and then we'll go over it. Probably wondering why I have a side-by-side, so let me explain. So this is the only scenario I could think of to take a Flux Raider over a handgun or a rifle. So it would be vehicle travel. So specific to me, wouldn't be regular vehicle travel, maybe on a long trip, but I would probably have a pistol with me somewhere else, but not on my person. But I do carry appendix. So as everyone knows, it could be a little annoying to sit in a car for extended periods of time with the pistol. I have done it before, could kind of adjust your setup so it's not that uncomfortable. But in a scenario like a side-by-side for me, these seat belts are harnesses and it has a big plastic buckle right in the front. So this has happened to me in the past while carrying an appendix. I have the buckle rubbing against my shirt and the gun, which not the greatest. Other bad situation about that is I have completely rubbed holes completely through my shirt in a situation like that. So it doesn't happen frequently, but when I go out on the side-by-side, I usually put a gun in a bag and not on my person. So this is the scenario that I was able to come up with for the Flux Raider. The best I could come up with. You're probably like, this guy's an asshole, whatever. But this is it. So let me grab my shot timer. Gonna run this scenario from the bag with 3 different guns. So I'm gonna, I will unload my carry gun because I carry one in the chamber, which you should too. So I'm gonna unload that, leave it in the holster, in the bag, rack it around, shoot maybe 3 rounds or something like that. Do the same with the Flux. And I do have an AR that will fit in my bag. My 300 blackout gun is just too long, but I do have my Spear LT, which is a 5.56 gun, but we're not gonna worry about that in this scenario. It's just AR, so you can do a 300 blackout pistol with a shorter barrel. Mine is 11.5 inch. You can get the 300 blackout upper for the Spear LT, so there's that. But let me get this set up a little bit. Oh, other reason for this too, I mentioned vehicle travel, and I mentioned my situation for the side-by-side, but also in the situation if I took a regular vehicle on a long trip for this. This thing is compensated, gases go up. Carry gun, ported, gases go up. So not trying to burn a hole or get bullet fragments or whatever in my headline or in my vehicle. This, metal, that's why we're using this vehicle for this situation. Let's go, hands on the wheel or something. Okay, that is 672. First shot was in 571. So let's unload. Because like I said, this is a P320. All right, right now 672 is the time to beat. Like I said, we're not racking around in the chamber just to make it fair. Open bag, rack around, and then we're gonna send it. So okay, so that was a 699 first shot in 615, which is slower if we remember correctly. All right, and this is the setup for the Spear LT. So stock is folded. I don't know if I'm gonna extend it and then shoot or leave it like this, bag and pew, pew, pew. And just to make this a little more fair, a little closer, I guess, I'm not gonna completely conceal the gun in the bag. It's in the bag will close with it, but just trying to make it a little easier because the magazine's not even inserted in the gun. So we're gonna take that, slap the magazine in, extend the stock, and then do all that. So obviously gonna be slower, but we are gonna go for it. All right, that was a 1279. That was, I guess, just under double the amount of time, but I never get tired of shooting this. Yeah. All right, so one cool feature I actually realized with the Flux, that this little lever here that extends the brace actually pushes down the slide lock. So if you leave your gun like this, insert magazine, then we're ready to go. Which, that's pretty cool. As we see the made up scenario in my head, this Flux Raider actually worked out best for it. I'm not gonna do other things of putting it in the bag, slung on my back, and then, oh shit, and take it out of the bag and pew pew, when I could just go, oh shit, draw and shoot. So that is the scenario I came up with to actually give the Flux Raider a edge up on the competition. Otherwise, I can't see using this in many situations other than vehicle travel. Like I said, home defense, this will work too, but this would definitely need a can not to be compensated, because like I said earlier, the compensator would be no bueno. One thing I want, but I will probably not get because I'm not really looking to spend money on this thing because it's just a toy and it doesn't really work for this setup. They sell a little racking thing, so you have like a little grip there to rack. They sell one that goes in your front sight post. Obviously will not work for me because that is attached to the barrel, but other slides have, I think Agency makes one that the slide has like a little racker on the side. That would be something nicer to make this a little easier to work with, because situation right now, like if you kind of rack one in, there's this big shelf here to kind of work around. So it's not as easy to do that because you I mean, a lot of things are just using the gun more and figuring it out, which would come in time. But this new thing I discovered with the brace coming out and the slide going forward is pretty awesome. There is the possibility to ride around with this, slide lock back, full magazine. Then if you need it, you just kind of pull it out and you're ready to go. So that is it. I'm gonna end this video here. Will I EDC this? Probably not. If you found this video insightful or helpful in any way, hit that subscribe button or something. Leave a comment down below if you have a good reason to carry one of these around that I just haven't thought of, which is a very good possibility because I haven't been thinking about this too much because I'm just like, hey, this is a cool range toy. Leave some comments if you want to help the channel in any way. Use the Amazon links down below. I guess that's about it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Stay strapped or get clapped.